Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
You're
the Larry
live.
Steinhouse Show.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Larry Steinhouse Show, where we blend entertainment, financial wisdom, and a dash of humor to bring you a lively discussion on the issues that matter most. Is this better, Omri?
No, it's not.
It's still terrible with ChatGPT?
It's like, why the simple people can't understand a word you're saying?
Well, I'm going to continue on. You let me know how it is, okay?
Sure.
All right. I'm Larry Steinhouse. I'm your host, and I'm here with the one and only Omri Morad, who brings his unique Israeli flair to the table. Unfortunately, Dr. Deb Anderson is out this week at a conference, but she'll be back with us soon to help us grounded with her thoughtful insights. Oh, wait, hold on. That was a perfect time for this, wasn't it?
Can we move on?
All right. Now, I lost my spot. All right, this week we got something special lined up for you guys. We're thrilled. We're going to be welcoming Senator Doug Mastriano as a special guest. Senator Mastriano, who's been a passionate advocate for taxpayers. Actually, he's been a passionate advocate for everything Pennsylvania, which is fantastic. He'll be joining us to discuss an issue that's on the minds of so many, which is property tax relief in Pennsylvania. With property taxes continuing to rise, this conversation is more timely than ever, and Senator Mastriano will share his insights on potential solutions and the steps being taken to provide relief to homeowners. As always, we'll be taking your calls and reading your comments live on the air, so don't hesitate to weigh in with your thoughts, questions, or opinions on the topics we cover. And the number to call is
855-939-1137. Simple as that. 855-939-1137. No big words at 855-939-1137.
All right. As always, we're also broadcasting from, where are we? We're broadcasting live from Investor Schooling headquarters. And if you're looking to gain the financial knowledge you need to secure your future, Investor Schooling is the place to be, where you can learn how to invest in real estate, stocks, and build wealth the right way. Stay tuned for what's sure to be an insightful, engaging, and sometimes shocking conversation. You won't want to miss it. And we're diving deep into property taxes, the economy, and much more with Senator Mastriano in just a couple of minutes. And we'll be having some laughs along the way. So grab a seat, get comfortable, and get started. So what's up, Omri? Before we get Senator Mastriano, why don't we talk quickly about what's going on in your life?
I'm trying to translate everything that you just said in the beginning of the show.
You didn't like it? I mean, it was just another ChatGPT intro.
Oh my God!
And I don't know. I thought it was good because it was very different than all the rest.
Yeah, it is.
The other ones were very similar. This one was very different.
Yeah.
And when I told it, I actually programmed it. I said, "Hey, listen, change the intro to include Doug and blah blah blah." And it seemed like it was pretty good. So, of course, we did leave out one part, which is the part where we're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, please leave a comment. Actually, there are no comments. I don't even see Clemmy commenting.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the system is working. So please let us know if we're actually even on the air, because I don't even know if we're on the air.
We are.
I'm assuming we are.
Yeah.
So if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, please leave a comment, and of course you guys can call in. By the way, I actually want to give the call-in number a couple of times, because if we are going to be having Doug Mastriano, Senator Mastriano on, people can call in and talk to him about this, because this is, it's funny. Everybody in the world wants their taxes lowered, but at the same time, it's a controversial issue.
Yeah.
Can you tell why it's controversial?
It depends who you are. If you are a family with kids, of course, you want to be sure that you are paying for those services.
Right, of course.
And if you're not, you don't want to pay for other people's kids.
I'm tired of paying for your kids to go to school, Omri.
Okay, that's why we're not living in the same area.
But we'll get into that.
We do, because I have so many questions about that.
Yeah.
I really want to understand how we can make sure that certain school district will keep their level where it is right now.
And we're gonna bring that up in just a couple of minutes. But what's going on in your life specifically? Because the only reason I want to do that is I just want to catch everybody up.
I'm still trying to to deal with a tenant that I've never experienced something like that. I think it had 4 appeals.
Your tenant who...
4 appeals.
Tell the story real quick. We got about 3 minutes to tell the story.
Yeah, so I
want to bring the senator on.
Yeah, so I have a tenant that is there for almost 4 years right now. And basically what's going on where the house is in Norristown is that When you are a tenant and not a landlord, you will get all the protection, all the free assistance, all the back you need, so you won't be evicted from the house. The problem is that it doesn't benefit, of course, the landlord, but there is a lot of rewarding for bad behavior here.
Yes.
A lot of rewarding
Yes.
for very, very bad behavior here. I'm sorry to say that it's also sometimes because of who the tenant is.
Yeah, so you ended up with a professional tenant, and the interesting part is you're fighting this professional tenant. You're fighting a professional tenant better than most people ever have. Mm-hmm. And
And during that time, I have to say,
yeah,
he paid.
And the interesting part was,
yeah.
You recognized it a year ago, and you didn't do anything about it.
No, I wasn't fast enough.
And you waited too long, and now he's almost AI too. He's learning as the moment goes by. He's learning how to appeal. He's learning how to do it. But you're pretty.
He can be a lawyer right now.
He's going to be gone when?
So, according to the Court of Common Pleas, he has until May 14. We'll see how that will go. I hope it will go. I think
we're going to be away. We're going to go. We leave.
I know. Believe me, I know.
Yeah.
The only problem is I don't know what will happen if he will try to do something at that point.
Yeah,
he can still appeal
to
to
He
Harrisburg.
can play to Harrisburg.
I know.
And maybe Senator Mastriano will hear the case.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see how that will go. It's just we are still living in this world that there is a lot of reward for bad behavior. That must stop.
I know, exactly. All right, so we got a lot of people online. Thank you, guys. You know what? Let's go. Let's get into it. Why don't we bring my good friend, Senator Doug Mastriano.
Please.
How are you, Senator?
Good morning, guys. I am doing fantastic now that spring is here. How about you guys?
Oh, I'm loving it. I went outside. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I have I have a couple of classic cars, and I have my Jaguar today. And I was taking my Jaguar out, and I'm like, wow, you know what? I don't want to go to the office today, but I promised you, Senator, that I would interview you today. So I came in just for you.
Oh, this is how I know you love me.
The last time I saw you, we had a great dinner at your friend Levi's house. That was fantastic.
Oh, my goodness. Thanks for coming out for that. Yeah. We're seeing something, and you were part of that, where we see the Anabaptists, like the Amish and Old Order Mennonite, becoming active politically. And that's something from the Reformation 500 years ago that they are forbidden to do. And I think that's in large part from the overstepping of the Democrat Party, trampling on their rights to educate their kids, and their businesses are affected during the shutdown. I had we actually attended Mennonite church, ironically, a retired Army colonel and senator, and we had one of the leaders there. He's like, we pray for you every day, but we're never going to vote. And then the shutdown happened, he's contacting me like, how do I get business open? And I found a loophole in Governor Wolf's. It never was a governor more appropriately named, Governor Wolf's exemption.
Yeah, exactly.
The next day, he marched his family down to register to vote. So,
and this is how you and I became friends, because I was the anti-mask advocate, and then one day I saw a video of you talking about how we're forcing masks on people. I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on? What is going on in my country? We're becoming a really. And it's funny, the Democrats keep throwing the words Nazi around now, and they don't even know what a Nazi is.
We didn't know.
But that was Nazism when they were putting the masks on everybody.
We didn't know. I'm a Republican, and I can tell you, we didn't know. We believed what we've been told.
Right, but after a while, you realized it was complete BS.
I don't know, because we wear masks. How do we know it's a BS?
Because I proved that they didn't work, but that's a different issue.
I know. Am I sick because I wear a mask? I didn't wear a mask. We couldn't hold to anything back then.
I got to tell you that I'm so disappointed that COVID's over. Because I have nothing to advocate about anymore, except when I saw you the other day. So I follow you because we are friends, and of course I supported your campaign for governor. I'm kind of hoping you run again, but if you do, I'll support you again, of course. But as we became friends, I started following you, and I noticed you were talking the other day about property tax relief, and that's really why I want to have you on today. So I don't want to discuss the past; I want to discuss the future, which is the property tax relief. And I have to tell you, what's I've heard this so many times. Now I'm not exactly sure what we're trying to. Now what's the story? We're trying to eliminate the school tax. Is that it?
So the property tax is also the school tax. It's different between every county, but about half of the property tax actually goes to the school, then the rest to first responders or other local government issues. So my goal here, well, there was a Senate bill and House Bill 76, which has since perished, but in 2015 it actually made it to the Senate, and it died in the Senate by a tie vote. The deputy lieutenant governor under Wolf, I think his name was Stack. He went on to be a comedian in California, ironically. He voted no on it. We tried to revive that, the elimination of property tax in 2020. But like so many conservative movements, sadly, Larry, and you probably saw this before, the leaders of that movement turned against us. They turned against their sponsors or leaders in the Senate and House, and it basically imploded. So we have to reset this whole thing.
Okay, so here's the big question, right? Because it's funny, because like I posted on Facebook, I've been building this up all week, and a lot of people are asking the same question.
How?
Right, and even Omri, before we even brought you on this morning,
Yeah.
like, how are we going to eliminate property school taxes from homeowners if we need to pay for the schools?
So the solution we had, and before I was even in the Senate, I'm still in the Army, but in 2015 it was to raise the sales tax and raise income tax, and that's how you eliminate it. And this actually, and hey, look, I'd rather have no taxes, and I think the ultimate solution to property tax would be school choice, because we're spending now, we're the eighth most expensive state in the nation on public school spending, and we're producing at a 50. The higher the number, the worse you are. We're 32, so we're a top 10 spender, and we're in the bottom half as far as output. So we're throwing more money at the schools, $30-some billion annually from all sources, and that's the thing that's crushing homeowners. And so Philadelphia, you're not paying property tax, and don't go for this thing like, oh, it's passed down in their rent. That's baloney. They're not shelling out like we are in some counties, $4,000 or $5,000 a year, most of which is going to the schools. So you bring in a property, you bring in the sales tax increase, the income tax increase, and everybody, whether you're renting an apartment or own property, it's equal. The thing about property tax is that we're about 10,000 Pennsylvanians every year are losing their homes, mostly elderly, because they can't keep up with $4 or $5 grand every year, and that's unsatisfactory. I want to have a property tax eliminated. I'll have legislation do that, but I think our first step should be, and I have a bill already to do just this, is eliminate it first for the elderly, so we don't have these people getting kicked out of their homes.
Awesome. So just so you know, Senator, every once in a while you're breaking up, so I don't know if you're moving around or if you're in a bad spot. Just if you could maybe make a step to the right or step to the left, it might be better.
You talked about COVID a few minutes ago, and we need to remember that during COVID, that everybody were looking for relief, okay? And they asked us, the landlord, to give a break to the tenant. The taxes still went up.
The taxes still went up.
At those 2 years, taxes still went up. I won't say drastically, but they did still went up.
So hold on 1 second, everybody. Omri, give the phone number 5 times.
Sure.
So people can call in and talk to Doug.
5 times.
5 times. 7 times.
7 times?
7 times.
Okay, I will give you a good price for that.
Okay.
That's 855-939-11. What?
Come on now.
37. That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. You behave horribly to immigrants in this country.
Well,
855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. Where I'm at.
Yeah, and if you guys were here last week, we're happy to know that we were able to get. I made a call to Trump, and we got Omri back. He was being deported, but we got him back.
I didn't get deported.
He didn't show up, Doug. He didn't show up last week, right? You believe that? Oh, actually, you know what? This is cool. We got somebody from Princeton. His name is Bill. He's a fan of yours. What's going on, Bill?
Larry, how you doing?
Oh, dude, I know this voice.
Doug Mastriano. I heard you had our friend Doug. Doug is one of my favorites.
You recognize the voice, Doug?
In a radio, of course you recognize the voice.
You recognize the voice? I figured it out as soon as you said my name. I figured out who it was.
Also, Bill from the radio, and I just happened to be running for governor across the river. But I'll tell you something: we're taking what Doug Mastriano started as a great idea to restore faith to our government, restore some sensibility, common sense. The world's upside down.
Yes,
somebody's got to fix it.
Yeah, so for you guys who don't know who this is, this is Bill Spadia, who's running for governor in New Jersey, who has the highest property tax? Is it the highest property tax in the state next to California? I mean, the country next to California, Bill?
Our average is the highest in the country. Our average
It's higher than
tax
California.
rate, I should say tax bill is $10,000 a year
Oh,
is
my
the
goodness.
average. So it's neck and neck with California. But the reality is $10,000. You think about that. And what these corrupt fools in the legislature and in the governor's office have done over the past few decades is nothing but gimmicks. So they have this anchor program where they spend $2 billion a year. The average rebate to a homeowner is only $700.
Yeah, right.
Nobody
That's
has tried to
ridiculous.
solve the problem, right? It's absurd. And look, I'm running against a guy in the Republican primary who supports men in women's bathrooms, who supports licenses for illegals. I mean, this is a
All right,
guy
hold on,
that
Doug.
voted
Hold on.
to
I can't
raise
make
income
this.
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
sorry,
it's
I'm
a lot.
sorry, Bill. I can't make it a platform for you for running for governor. But I'm going to tell everybody on that I support you as well, and you are absolutely one of my favorite people. But I want to talk. I want to kind of stay topic on the taxes. So actually,
Look,
between both of you
can't
guys,
help myself sometimes, Larry.
no, actually, you know what? We've also been friends for years. And the other day when I was on the phone with you, we were just talking, in random because we talk every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you called. But the interesting thing is, when we were talking, I noticed that you're starting to get really excited because what's the primary? The 10th?
So the primary is on June 10th.
June 10th,
but,
yeah.
The mail-in ballots have already gone out. And in Jersey, we have early voting. So early voting starts June 3rd. So we are 30 days from early voting starting.
All right, cool.
We're 38 days from the votes being counted when the polls close at 8 o'clock on June 10th. But look, it's I say it not as a campaign commercial. I say the things I say as one of the things people always ask me is, what do you pray for? And I always pray that the truth is revealed. And I believe that Senator Mastriano,
Are you there?
in
okay.
his effort to take back,
He's cutting out a little.
in his effort to take back Pennsylvania for normal and common sense, you got to make sure the truth is revealed. And look, guys, both Republicans and Democrats together are complicit in the problems in this country. That's why we needed Donald Trump.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody outsider,
Right,
strong,
absolutely.
courageous.
Yeah. So hold on, Bill. Actually, stay on the line, Bill, because actually this tax topic is really an interesting topic. Okay, so going back to you, Doug. So when we talk about eliminating property taxes, right? We're going to get rid of school tax. We're going to raise. You said you're going to raise sales tax and raise income tax, right? So why is that any different than paying? I can answer it myself, but I want you to answer it.
Think about this. So in the big city, people paying property tax, you have a landlord there. He could tell you this here, but the burden is on landowners.
Correct.
And what this means, property tax, is that we're paying rent on property that we own already to local government. And if you're delinquent more than 2 years, the sheriff shows up and sells your house for pennies on the dollar, on an auction, and you're done. And we're talking about people, $10,000 a year, homes, elderly, retirees who paid their taxes, were good citizens, raised their kids, probably served in the military and fought in the Korean or Vietnam War, and then in their golden years are told to get lost because they can't pay the taxes. And so property tax needs to end. My idea is the idea they had in the past, and it's not my idea, it's the bill I was talking about, Senate Bill 76, the 76ers, is that instead of having this rent on your property paid to the local government called property taxes, that they just increase the income tax and sales tax, and it's done, and it's distributed out of Harrisburg, which is a problem because local government's better. But, the ultimate solution is going to have to be school choice, because right now we're spending, as I said, $22,000 per student. We're talking about university level, not quite Princeton University, but university level education, and we're not getting the bang for the buck. Our kids are coming out in a bottom tier equal to like Louisiana and other southern states. Are you kidding me? We're paying $30-some billion a year. So we need school choice. That will drive down the cost of school. That'll leaven the playing field, and then in the end bring,
I think school choice. First of all, school choice would make such a difference. This nightmare of what we're teaching our kids would go away with school choice. Where you want to send your trans kids to public school, go ahead. But I don't want to send my kids to learn about transgender for no reason. Go ahead.
Larry, Doug has got a great point. And Larry, Doug, you hit the nail on the head. the costs across the river in Jersey are very similar to Pennsylvania, and the product we're getting is diminishing. The difference is that as governor in New Jersey, I'll be able to start us on the path to school choice using executive orders. That's something that other governors don't have that opportunity. We're going to start on this path before the legislature even gets involved, because the cost of a charter school in New Jersey is about $13,000 a year compared to $23,000
Wow.
in your traditional public schools. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'll give you an example. Newark, New Jersey has 28,000 kids, plus or minus 500 or so, and in that group, already 4,000 children are on a waiting list to go into a charter school. That would lower the cost of educating those kids potentially by $10,000 a student. But the governor won't let it happen, and the mayor won't let it happen. So we're going to take over the Board of Ed in Newark on day one and release those 4,000 kids. And we're going to give the money that's being taken out of our suburbs and out of our rural communities, and we're going to give it back to them for tax breaks. Starting at age 55, we're going to zero out the education portion of your real estate taxes, which is about 60%.
Oh, yeah. So we have it in
Zero
Pennsylvania.
by the time you're 70.
So, Bill, I don't know if you have realized it. In Pennsylvania, we have two separate bills. It's not just one bill. We have two separate bills. We have a bill for county taxes during the right around now, actually, and then we have come July, August, we get the bill for school taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I got that right.
Yeah, you're right.
I just wasn't sure if I had it backwards, but yeah, I got it right. So then, so it's
right.
so if we eliminate the. I mean, look. First of all, Army and I are property owners. We own a whole lot of property, right? I pay. It's funny. It's funny. They always say that the rich don't pay their fair share in taxes. I pay in taxes more money than most people could ever dream of making.
The hate to the capitalist made by the Democrats is just ridiculous.
Right, exactly.
It's just ridiculous.
So hold on one second. We actually, let me see if we can even connect somebody. You guys, there's a guy named Michael in New Jersey. Michael, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Michael, we got some famous people on the line here. We got Senator Doug Mastriano and Bill Spadia, and you have questions about taxes. Go ahead.
I have a question about Pennsylvania education.
Go ahead, sure, go for it.
How far along is Pennsylvania in adopting their own school curriculum?
So, I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm sorry, I was breaking up. How far along is Pennsylvania in adopting their own school curriculum?
So every county has their own curriculum. So I'm not sure if I understand your question.
Okay. Has thought, this is to Doug, has thought yet been given to replace school boards with state-appointed officials to improve academic performance?
Okay, so I'm on the education committee. I'm the vice chair at the Senate Education Committee. And so we have oversight of curriculum and what have you. So all the curriculum's in place. I mean, occasionally, like I have a Holocaust bill that would mandate specific curriculum at the state level. But most of it's driven locally, as Larry said. Some curriculum comes out of our Department of Education in Harrisburg. The thing is, if you look at the schools here at the big picture, we have 500 school districts in Pennsylvania. And you look at that infrastructure, that equals about 500 or more principals and superintendents. So the first $500 million that we spend every year is going to cover the salaries of superintendents and principals. And so I think to get our arms, so the curriculum issue, that's local, that's addressed. We do tweaks in Harrisburg here and there. But the bigger issue here is we need to streamline a better organization. We have 67 counties in Pennsylvania. Why do we have 500 school districts? I mean, it's a bit of madness here.
Yeah.
That's a lot of duplication.
Yeah, that's insane.
On the other side, back to the property tax issue, there's more areas of revenue rather than taxing people more. And I don't like the idea of increasing sales tax or income tax. That affects everybody. So why don't we do a tax on the universities that have, like University of Pennsylvania has a $20 billion private endowment. Yeah. If that's taxed, that's going to generate a lot of money. If a lot of the illegals and foreigners that are here are sending their money back to their home countries, if we follow Oklahoma's lead and do a remittance fee on the transfer of money overseas, that not only helps us with our own taxes and providing for property tax relief, but it also hit the illegals where it hurts the most. Additionally, I'm tired of politicians lying to us. In 2003, I think Ed Rendell, he was jealous of what was going on in Atlantic City, with the gambling, and he said, bring gambling to Pennsylvania and your property taxes will go away. Well, that was a bunch of baloney because property taxes are still going up.
Yeah, exactly. That was a complete
This is a
joke.
real thing?
Yeah, that was same thing in New Jersey. Bill, Bill, I mean, you've been in New Jersey your whole life, right, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, what Doug is saying is right about Pennsylvania. Actually, Doug, thanks for saying that because we have 611 school districts and 564 towns.
Wow.
I mean, you think about the size of the state, the population, it really shows out of control.
Still there?
And I've made this commitment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you were just cutting out. You were cutting out.
Larry? Yeah. So I made this commitment. He's right about illegals too. Like we're going to end the sanctuary state on day one when I'm governor, and end the licensing for illegals, and the subsidies for in-state tuition. All that goes away. But we've got to get school choice so where you lower the average cost per student. It's the only way to do it. I'm intrigued by the idea of getting rid of real estate taxes. We're going to start with the education portion and go down from there.
Okay, so the biggest thing to me would be, the taxes for seniors. And, this seems to be the big thing, right? Look, I mean, and I got to be honest with you. My wife and I, we moved into, you want to be ready for this? We moved into a cheaper school district because it's just us. We don't need to bring our kids to school. And it happens to be not that great of a school district compared to the ones around us. I mean, it's not bad, but compared to the ones around us, of all the school districts in the area where I live in Bucks County, it's not one of the best. It's closer to one of the worst. But again, they're all decent, but this is closer to one of the worst. But we purposely moved here because our taxes are half of those in the same size house as somebody in, like, say, Newtown.
Yeah, of course.
So we made that mistake. I'm sorry, we made that decision based on the fact that we want to pay less taxes.
So realistically, according to what you're describing here, okay, we will have counties or school district that will be that will resident people that are over 55 and has no kids,
right?
Because they don't care about the schools. They don't need the schools.
But the real issue
is, then we will have townships.
You and I will not have a problem with this. When we grow older, I mean, look, I'm 61, 65, 70. I'm not going to have a money problem. I'm going to be able to pay my taxes. But there are hundreds of thousands of seniors, maybe millions of seniors across the country who can't afford their property taxes. They paid their house off. They worked in their whatever blue-collar job for their whole life.
Yeah, they just want to live there.
Now they're living on Social Security, and they can't afford to pay their taxes, and they don't want to move. Now, they could move. They could keep their house and maybe finance it. Maybe they get a reverse mortgage and leave nothing to their kids, the house that they worked for their whole life. So it's all bad for seniors who can't afford this. And I'm really all for that. I mean, if somebody would stand up and say, look, when you hit a certain age, you no longer have to pay property taxes, even, and even if you want to add the qualifier that you don't have any kids in the school, that's fine. I would love that to be just the first step.
Larry, that's why we're starting with 55 and older, saying that we're going to get that 60%. In some towns, it's as high as 70%. We're going to get you a 50 to 70% reduction in your property taxes by the time you are 70. The whole idea is to incentivize people in that empty nest time to stay in states like New Jersey. You'll do it the same in Pennsylvania, so that they are paying into the economy in that state. What happens in New Jersey is they go to Delaware, they go to South Carolina, they jump across the river to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Hell, you guys only have 511 school districts. We got 611. It's got to be better across the Delaware.
It's crazy.
Right?
It's crazy.
I
can't run anymore. We got to solve it.
I do have a question here. I'm trying to understand. Sorry.
Go ahead, Doug.
No, but I was just going to add that the average salary for principals of the schools is about $110,000. That's equal to what I made as a colonel in the United States Army with 30. So times how many schools we have, times school districts, times supervisors. You're racking up money in the billions is wasted on administrative overhead. I'm asking teachers, during the gubernatorial, and I had a lot of teachers supporting me despite the union's efforts against me. But I'm like, so why is only a third of the money making it to the classroom? $22,000 a student, but only a third of that shows up in the school in the classroom. And they're like, it's all the overhead, the administrators and what have you. And so we start there. Bill, I remember a day, growing up, New Jersey was reliably red. It's about time that it goes back to its roots, man.
If it wasn't for Chris Christie, we'd have a Republican governor now.
So the only thing I don't understand.
But that's a different issue.
What if it will come? If all the money will come down from the state, how we can make sure that the money to funding, because it's going to be by the property, not the property, I'm sorry, but the state tax. How we make sure that this money is not going to schools that basically teach the kids. They don't teach them math. They don't teach them English. They don't teach them history. They teach them, I don't know.
Well, they are. It's not that they're not teaching that stuff. They are, and maybe to a level that they should be teaching a better level. But
we want to make sure. I want to make sure that if it will come from the state.
Asked the question about you had a caller ask the question. Mike from Jersey asked a question about curriculum in New Jersey, and I don't know about Pennsylvania, but we've got a state board of education that pushes a radical climate change agenda. They push a pronoun agenda. We have a gender studies and critical race theory and all this DEI that has been infused into every classroom across the state. I'm going to on day one fire 8 of those 13 members. DEI is dead on arrival when I get to the governor's office.
What is gender studies?
Doug made a good point.
I know, I'm trying. I don't want to turn this in, Bill. I love you, but I don't want to turn this into a platform for you being governor. Although, again, I endorse you. You are the greatest guy. But I just want to be careful that we stay on track here. And also,
but the gender studies has to do with the taxes because you're paying $23,000 a student, and you're right. They're not learning history and math. They're learning gender fluid nonsense. They're learning about every single bad thing that happened in American history as a defining point. And honestly, to Doug's point, New Jersey used to be red. You know what happened, Doug? The Republican Party got weak. They got anti-Trump. They got weak.
Yeah.
You got Republicans that vote as Democrats. They allowed the status quo to become a permanent Democratic majority, and we are going to be a wrecking ball when I become the nominee on June 10th. And as I said, Doug and Larry, it's not even about a commercial. Look, it's about speaking truth, right?
Right. No, I agree. No, I totally agree. Yeah. And by the way, your competitors are welcome to call my show anytime. Because I have to say that. All right. So we're by the way, we're leaving Henry. Why don't we bring Henry in? Henry from New Jersey. What's going on, man?
Hi. I was involved with the property tax elimination effort in Pennsylvania.
Oh, awesome.
Still am. Since 2016, where I found out about David Baldinger after getting frustrated in New Jersey by a statewide meeting we had that included Gina Genovese, who later ran for governor, and our organization was New Jersey Citizens for Property Tax Reform. But after that state meeting, we were all over the map, and I was very frustrated that nothing was going to happen. And I saw David Baldinger's video on YouTube, and David Baldinger started the Pennsylvania Taxpayers Cyber Coalition, the PTCC, and I learned a lot from him. And one thing that I noticed when you guys are talking about doing something about property taxes, you get lost in curriculum, you get lost in the administrator makes this much, and all of that's true, but you have to focus on getting rid of the property tax, and in the case in our effort in Pennsylvania, the school property tax, because that's the heavy hitter. The county and municipal doesn't count for as much. And I had been a homeowner in Pennsylvania. Our family has roots there too. And
you're in New Jersey now?
Yes. So right now I am. Yeah.
You know who to vote for, right? For governor, right?
Somebody's going to eliminate property taxes. I think Ed the trucker dropped out, and the Libertarians don't have a chance, right?
Talk to Bill Spadia.
Hey, way, there's only one guy. Hey, do you know that I'm the only Republican that mentioned property taxes at the debate? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Property taxes are number one. But to your point, you have to talk about the curriculum. You got to talk about what's really going on in the schools, because people need to understand you're not getting a return on your investment. We should be able to lower property taxes by 50 to 60%.
But that's true. But if you go through the savings route, it's going to lead nowhere. Like our organization in New Jersey, the NJPTR, had a thing where we're going to save 10 to 15%. Well, that would have been wiped out in 2 years of increase.
By the way, Ed the Trucker endorsed me. Just so we're clear.
Hey, Bill, I just got a warning. Okay, so just so you know, just kind of walk the line a little bit more to the other side. You know what I mean?
Well, Ed the Trucker came up, so I thought we should at least mention, if Ed the Trucker comes up, then Ed the Trucker's a good topic, right?
No, I know.
If you want, guys, I will send the number to John and Jack so they feel that I'll text them now so they know.
Yeah, so they can call in, right? Exactly.
Listen, I'm going to see them. We have a debate coming. We got a forum I'm pulling up to. So, hey, Doug, Senator Mastriano, Doug, you're a great American. You're a great man of faith. I only called today, honestly, to congratulate and thank you for your incredible leadership. You should have been governor. The state is now suffering because of this far-left radical liberal, and God bless you for keeping the faith and keeping the fight. Whatever I can do from the Jersey side to help you, please let me know.
Thank you, Bill. God bless you. I'm wishing you great success across the side of Delaware.
Yeah, Bill, and Bill, I appreciate.
You got a great show, my friend.
I so appreciate you calling in, man. It was like it's awesome because I used to call on your show, and now you're calling on my show. I feel honored, man. I really feel honored.
Look, I feel like I call your show and talk about my run. You would call my show and plug your business.
Well, of course, that's what it's all about, right? But I called your show to talk to you because I love talking to you. All right, hopefully I'm gonna see you in the governor's mansion for your party.
You are invited. All of you are invited to the primary election night, June 10th, and we'll send out those invitations. We'll talk soon. Great show, Larry. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. All right, so real quick, just so in case you guys just tuned in, this is the Larry Steinhouse Show. We're brought to you by Investor Schooling, and we're talking about. We happen to be talking about property taxes. We usually talk about finances, but because we're real estate investors, we talk about real estate investing. This topic was important. I thought it was an important topic to talk about property taxes. And of course, we have a special guest. We have Senator Doug Mastriano. We just had Bill Spadia call in, who's running for governor in New Jersey, which I was really glad he called in. It was great that he did. It's funny that I had an event where I actually introduced Bill Spadia and Doug Mastriano together about 4 years ago, and they became friends, and the three of us are now friends. It's kind of neat. So it was nice to have Bill call, and it's nice to know that Bill listens to my show. I feel honored once again. But Doug, so what do you think? What thoughts? What more thoughts should we talk about on this?
I think on our side, Larry, we're too much all or nothing. I want property tax gone. I don't want an increase in sales tax. I don't want an increase in income tax. I want it gone. It needs to end. I think it's immoral, especially for the elderly losing their homes.
Yeah, agreed.
If you own property, I get it. It's a legacy from the colonial days, but then landowners had special privileges. We don't have anything special, and we're subsidizing the big cities and elsewhere. Because who owns property in the big cities? Not a lot of people, and so that needs to end. But I think let's start where we can get something done. First off, let's end property tax for people 65 and over.
I would love that. I would think that would be great.
And the way now we're gonna need money from somewhere, since we don't have the ability to modernize and streamline our public education, which is sucking all this money away. So that's where the remittances comes in, a fee and a remittances. $70 billion leaves Pennsylvania every year on foreign remittances, most from illegals or people here working from overseas. That will help alleviate the loss of the retirees not paying into property tax locally. And then also with the, taxing the endowments that the universities have. We're talking, University of Pennsylvania alone, $20 billion in endowments. That needs to be taxed. They're getting a free ride. So let's help the elderly keep their homes. And it's as simple as that. So let's start there. I know a lot of people on the anti-property tax side are all or nothing, and they got nothing. And we got people still losing their homes. So let's start where we can right there. Retirees should be exempt from property tax. They don't have kids in school anymore anyway. It doesn't make any sense.
So is there any program at all for property tax relief for seniors?
Yeah, I mean, there is a remittance that comes from the gambling. It's a paltry amount, like $100 or $200, and that's it. You know, so much for the line in 2005. I can't remember.
So if my property tax is $7,000, I may get $200 or $300 to offset that, which is obviously, I mean, for me, I'm using it as an example for somebody who's elderly and may not be able to afford the taxes. Yeah, it's a real shame. I mean, we're not going to find this. We're not going to find this in neighborhoods that you and I live in. We're going to find this in neighborhoods like that are poor neighborhoods. That maybe the house is worth $150,000, maybe it's worth $200,000, and they've lived there their whole life, and maybe their taxes, maybe they're not even 7, 10, 15 grand like ours are. Maybe there's something like maybe there's something 3 or 4 grand. But 3 or 4 grand to somebody bringing in just above the poverty level is a lot of money.
I get it. I'm just asking, what will fund those schools? Is the state money will be enough? And the other question I'm thinking about is, because we know the townships always find their ways. How can we block their option to basically bill us for those things?
Yeah, I got you.
Right?
I don't know. So, but he's saying we would do it with sales tax and we would do it with income tax. So basically what's happening is now you got the people who can't afford to pay the taxes on their home. They're not making any income anyway, or very little income, so they're not paying much on their income tax, and they're obviously not spending as much as people who
we want to believe they don't. Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so they're paying less in sales tax, but they're paying a high percentage in sales tax. So the real question is, how high would it go? I mean, we're at 6% now in Pennsylvania. Where would it go?
Well, I mean, let's talk about the median home income here in Pennsylvania is $165,000 home. That's the medium home. That's the average person out there's house, $165,000. And on that property alone, they're paying $2,200 annually at this point on a school/property tax. And how do you sustain that if you're 80 years old on Social Security and fixed income? And you can't. And so then you lapse, you miss a year, you miss the second year, and then the sheriff comes knocking, and you're on the street. Are you kidding me? That crap needs to stop.
Yeah, right. That's great. Yeah, I agree. Hey, Doug, do you have a little more time? Can we take a commercial?
No,
you have to run. Okay.
I have to get off with that.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to double check. Okay. All right. So, Doug, I so appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. You're awesome. Listen. If you run for governor again, you got my support once again. I joked to Omri. I said, hey, if you run for governor and Bill Spadier wins and you win, you know what that means? That means I have 2 governors' cell phone numbers.
Even better.
And if you are going to be a governor and somebody will try to light your house on fire, please be more aggressive against them.
Oh my goodness! Do you even want to bring that up?
Please.
Are you gonna stay silent on that one, Senator?
I mean, I was asked if I was going to do a hearing on that, and I was initially going to, but then I was thinking from an operational security perspective, this would compromise the governor's security detail. How many cameras? How'd you miss them? How many people were on duty? So I don't know what we're going to do next on that. I got to get.
Yeah, no, that's a big thing. But I'm actually Omri's going with the anti-Semitism angle. And that's a real political nightmare time bomb if we get into that right now. So
I'm raising a Jewish family in this state. What do you think I would be concerned about? I
totally agree.
That's my biggest concern, of course.
I mean, Omri's from Israel, Senator. He's very concerned, and he's here legally.
And
it's true. Yeah, it's true. As hard as it is to see how easy it for other people to do it illegally, I am legal.
So I didn't even mention the people online, Senator. So many people are thanking you for being here and having this conversation, and we so appreciate you. And listen, I told you a while back, Linda and I want to take you and Rebbe out for a nice dinner. The 4 of us just hanging out. So let's do that in the next few weeks, especially before you decide you want to run again. Then I'll never be able to talk to you again.
You still got my number, so
I
we're
know.
good. Hey, I remember you hosted us at the Washington Crossing Inn. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that
Real
was great.
fellowship.
That was
Thank you
great.
for your support over the years, Larry. I'm so grateful for you.
You got it, Doug, and I'm grateful for you and everything you do, man. I'm gonna keep everybody knowing who you are, because that's an important thing.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. God bless, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Senator. All right, Glenn, why don't you take us to a commercial, and then we'll come back and we'll spend a couple more minutes on Omri's problems. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling.
Couple of
You know that
hours,
there are
maybe.
A lot of altruistic reasons that you should become a real estate investor. That's right. You get to rent houses to
I was going to thank him, but
nice
he dropped
people who
off.
need houses. Was that? When there's a housing shortage.
I was going
and
to
you
thank
have
him
a
for coming
house
on,
for
but
them,
he
they're
dropped
so
off.
He was great,
I
wasn't
mean,
he?
I know you already
From
thanked him.
tenants.
So.
Yeah, he was great.
Go to investorschooling.com and you will learn how to be a landlord the right way. That's
So
right. We have
people
a
on
complimentary
Facebook, you
class
guys can
this
still hear
Thursday
us.
night, and this
So,
way you can get hugs
please
from
let me
your
know what you
tenants
guys
too.
thought about
Go to
interviews.
investorschooling.com. We'll see you Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Hi, this is Larry Steinhouse, and I want to let you know that I buy houses. I buy houses from people that may be a tired
Larry, do you want me
maybe
to?
somebody who's having
Is it
trouble
better if I
selling their
turn on the
house, or maybe
commercials?
someone who needs
I mean,
to
they're
sell
playing
their
on the
house
air,
quickly.
but
Well,
is it
all
better
you
for
need
your
to do
live
is
stream
call
if I turn them on?
855
No, that's fine. That's fine.
1137. That's
That way we can be quiet and people can listen to the
855-939-1137. And I promise to answer the phone and help you with your situation. That's right. Your house may be cluttered. It may be a house that a relative left you, or it may just be a house you just want to get rid of. 855-939-1137. Hi, this is Larry Steinhouse, and I want to tell you about a charity we formed called Lev 27. Lev 27 is a charity that helps people stay in their homes. Look, sometimes life happens. Many people live paycheck to paycheck, and if suddenly something happens and they
All right,
can't
so
afford
your
to
hard
pay
out
their
is
rent, we will
$59.30.
step in and help them. We'll even cover any legal fees to keep them in their home. Go to lev27.org, that's lev27.org, to find out how you can help or make a donation. Thank you. Hi, this is Larry Steinhouse, and I want to tell you about a full-day event we're having on Saturday, June 14th. Not only will you learn stock options and real estate, but you'll also learn asset protection, you'll learn how life insurance really works, and so much more. To sign up for this event, go to 4mmw.com. That's the number 4mmw.com. And I'll tell you what, if you put in the coupon code WPHT, you're going to get a free ticket. That's it, 4mmw.com, coupon code WPHT. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Did you know that there are so many different ways to prepare for retirement, and annuities are not the answer? Come learn this Thursday by taking a free class at Investor
All right,
Schooling.
we're gonna be coming
Come
back.
to Investor Schooling,
All right,
and
cool.
you will learn so many different ways that you can make more money in retirement than you actually expected to. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday. That's investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. We'll see you there.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
You're back.
All right, everybody, welcome back to a special edition of the Larry Steinhouse Show. We were honored. We had Senator Doug Mastriano on, and then we had the Bill Speedia calling. That was kind of cool too.
Yeah,
that was really neat.
awesome.
Yeah, it's these are what's really cool, right? When you're doing things and you're doing good things, you get to meet really cool people, right? So of course I got to meet Senator Mastriano. I got to meet Bill Speedia, and we became friends. And I introduced Mastriano to Speedia, which is kind of cool too. And it's just really nice. And by the way, I just have to say one more time, if you're running against Bill Speedia, you are welcome to call our show, and we will give you 20 minutes. I have to say it. I don't know why, but I have to say it. But I'm supposed to say it. I think I don't know. But we'll give you 20 minutes, and we'll give it to you objectively, just as we did before, because we have to.
We'll be very happy to talk to you anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we actually,
because it's who we
would love
are.
to talk to you.
It's who we are.
Because it's also great because if you talk to us, maybe there's something we don't know about you. You know what I mean? But
I have one concern about the subject we just covered with the school taxes, mainly the school taxes, of course, not the property taxes. As big as we go, we can live in an area that is very much according to what we believe. We can go political and say we will live in an area that we have people that have the same opinion as we do, that are more, you can say, Republican, but it's not the point. And when we talk about the state can be different, because the state is, of course, it's democracy, it's by the majority of people. I am very afraid that the state will dictate how much money will go to my kids' education.
So you're thinking if
Because
we eliminate school taxes,
if the kid,
now the state's going to say, well, we're going to give a lot of money to this school system. We're gonna
this
give a little bit of
school
money
is teaching capitalism too much, I will give them less money.
or they're not teaching enough of gender misinformation.
Exactly, and that
Right.
scares me. Now, people can look the same and see what Trump is doing right now
Right.
in Harvard right now and said this is unacceptable. Who is he to tell them that they have to do an anti-Semitism act?
Yeah.
But there must be a norma. And the norma should be a line that we should be as close as we can to it. And when we're going too far, we need to use our binoculars, look and see, oh, yeah, the line is too far. We need to get closer to that line.
Well, that's why
And-
school choice is so important. You should be able to send your kids to a private school, and you should absolutely get a tax benefit for that.
You know-
if I'm going to send my kid to a private school, and I mean, I don't remember if it was Bill or Doug who said it, and saying that the cost of the school was, I think it was something like $26,000 per person, but the charter school was $13,000 or something. Again, I don't remember the numbers exactly.
Who is a very
but
good
it was
ex-
half.
I know. Who is a very good example to that, you know?
No.
The Amish.
Yeah, exactly right.
So
Which
the
is amazing.
the
how-
Amish
another
people-
thing that Doug said
I
was
know.
they're getting involved.
They are paying tax. They are paying school tax.
Yeah.
They are paying school taxes, but they are not sending their kids to the public schools.
Yes.
They have their own schools, but they are still paying for the public schools. Now, it's not a good example because you are comparing it to one community that has maybe people that are 60, 70, and also have families with kids. We can't say, okay, this is a community for only family. We do have communities that are only 55 and over.
Yeah, it's exactly
That's true.
right. We have communities
That's
of
true.
55 or older, right? So if you have a community of 55 or older with no kids, right? What do we do, right? Why should they be taxed?
I was just thinking about
It
that
doesn't
as
make
I
any sense, right?
as I said as I phrased the question. I was just thinking about that. But we
Yeah.
don't have community that will say this is only a family area.
Right.
The taxes here are higher because we are paying for the schools because we care about the school. This is only a family community. We don't have those, right?
No, it makes absolutely no sense, right? So if you're right away, if you're in a retirement community,
Yeah,
your taxes should be lower,
I agree.
but they're not.
I agree.
They're not. In most cases, they're about the same. In some cases, they're higher because retirement communities, some of them are pretty
And the
expensive.
HOAs are fighting that so hard. We have good friends living in a 55 and over, and one of the daughters or something, they came and stayed with them for a few weeks. I guess one of the neighbors complained, and they got a letter from the HOA saying that the daughter or the teenager was living there for over 2 weeks and she have to be removed.
Right.
So they are fighting that because basically those people, I'm sorry, but those people don't want to see kids. They want
Yeah,
to
right.
walk in there because teenagers
Yeah,
are
it's
noisy.
It's a different issue.
I
We're
know.
going back to the school
I
tax.
get it. But if you go back to the school taxes, I understand completely why there they shouldn't pay school taxes. And I am afraid a bit that means that I will pay maybe twice, maybe triple for the school taxes for myself and also for our properties. Because if somebody
right. So now
will
it's interesting,
decide,
too. So now
Yeah.
they say, how come the landlords are the ones responsible for the taxes? The renters aren't. So basically, but they're and it's a really strange statement because I've had this before. I've had this said to me before by landlords. Right? How come I have to pay the school taxes, but the tenants don't have to pay the school taxes?
yeah.
I gotta admit that they're technically paying the school taxes if we're making money, right? If we're collecting rent from them and we're using that rent to pay the school tax, they're technically paying it anyway, right? Or do you agree or disagree?
I do agree. I can tell you that where I'm coming from, originally, many years ago, the tenant is paying for the taxes. Now, the tenant is paying for the taxes because the logic behind that say, if you choose to live in this expensive area and you're paying for the rent in this expensive area, you probably have the money to pay for the taxes in this expensive area. And that's the logic behind it. Now, does it affect the rents? Does it mean that the rent are lower? Maybe slightly. Maybe.
Well, so now do we say this? So do we say, okay, now landlords, instead of taxing the landlords, we tax the tenants, and we say, listen, you're renting this from me, and I'm going to lower your rent $300 a month, and you have to pay the county and the state $3,600 towards their money instead.
Yes, we do that.
No, we do
Accounting
it.
wise,
Right.
as landlords, we're doing it.
Right, we're doing it, but why not just have the tenant pay it?
So, I think it's more a convenient issue. I think when a tenant come and live in our property, they want a one big deal.
And I agree. And I'm being a little
I know. I get you. They want a one
and
deal.
You got to remember too, like what happens when the tenant doesn't pay it.
It's a
Who's
problem.
Responsible? Is it are they
exactly.
responsible?
It's your house.
But they have kids. So if they have kids, why am I paying? Why am I paying the taxes for the tenant who has kids? Now the answer is obvious. The answer is because that's what we do. We have taxes on our property and we have to pay that.
So I have a question for you.
At the same time, why am I paying it, right?
And
Why not they pay it?
How is it going to work? The township will come and say, wait, you rented this house to a family with kids, now we increase your taxes?
Well, yeah, that may
realistically,
be, that it's somewhere along the way that maybe, but what just the most important thing to me, and I think the senator said it well, was talking about people who are elderly and can't afford it. Right?
I agree.
So if we say, okay, number one, if we say, okay, we eliminate property taxes or we super discount property taxes for people over 60 or 65 or 70, whatever age, it's fine, right? That's fine. And then maybe we even add a slight another qualifier with certain incomes.
I tell you,
any one of those things to me would be a great plus.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have people who can keep their houses, they can stay in their house. I mean, how many times do we hear it, right?
They live there for so many years. Why they should have the right?
I get the calls from people wanting to sell their house. Oh, do you owe anything on it? No. Why are you selling it? Because I can't afford the taxes.
Exactly.
I mean, are you serious?
Yes.
And I yes, I do want to buy their house, of course. And I have personal reasons I want to buy their house, which are financial reasons.
Yes.
But at the same time, I feel so bad. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And the first thing I'm doing is like, how can I solve this guy's problem?
You always ask yourself, how can it be that the county doesn't offer them a relief that allow them?
Not enough.
I know.
Right.
That's the end of the question. Well, how can it be that the county doesn't offer them a relief that will allow them to stay where they want, where they lived for so many years?
Yes, exactly.
Especially if they live there for so many years and they pay the taxes there for so many years, and that's it.
Yeah,
and that's the problem.
It's just not. It's not right. And then you've got people, same thing, same situation. Maybe they're a little poor. They maybe something happened. Their life changed. And if they had a little bit of property tax relief because their income went down, again, maybe that would be helpful. But I'm just a radio host. I have a company called Investor Schooling. I teach people how to make money. And this is what I do.
Yes.
We got guys like Senator Mastriano. We got guys like Bill Spadia who may be able to change this problem for us. I hope it happens. It'll be fantastic. Anyway, we're about out. So I want to thank everybody for listening. This was a great show. I want to thank all the fans of Senator Mastriano, of course, and I want to thank Mastriano for being online.
Yes, it was
also
great.
want to thank, of course, Bill Spadia for calling in. That was really cool. Thank you so much. And if you want to go to Investor Schooling, you can take a free class. You can meet Omri and I.
Yes.
And Dr. Deb. If you ever want to come in, you can come see us.
Be here.
Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com, and you can take a complimentary class. I promise you can learn something, and I promise it's going to be really good. So, investorschooling.com. We'll see you soon.
You're clear.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Everybody online, stick around. We
This
got another
program is
show
paid for
coming.
by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
Cool stuff.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia.
Did we stay in the line, Glenn? What do you think?
Experience the Power One with 8 brands and 25 locations.
Let's to stay on the topic.
Did we stay in the line with Bill?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Because
I think Bill kind of stole the spotlight.
I know. I
he
saw
did.
that
I just want to
too.
make sure he didn't. That's
Wildfire
fine.
in Ocean County.
But that's okay.
Closure hospitals in Delaware
This is
County
who he
closed
is. It's
down
part of it.
After their parent company fails to find a
We
buyer. And a South
drove
Philly
back
couple is reunited with
from
their
Boston,
cat,
I think,
which had
you
been
and me.
stolen last Saturday.
And he had a conversation about the homeless people. And he's so good.
3.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here. If you were misled or lied to in any way when buying a timeshare,
Two
right
after.
now
Okay.
is your wake-up call. With the tariffs, economy tanking, and inflation rising,
I told
you
Frank to
might
give a
need
call
to
back.
ask yourself this
You
question.
said,
Is
yeah,
owning a
that's fine.
timeshare
I know
a
why he
good
was
idea
calling, and it was
with all
irrelevant.
the economic uncertainty?
I know.
You need to protect yourself and your family. Don't look back and say, if I'd have only got rid of that stupid timeshare they lied to me about. It's time to stop thinking about canceling your timeshare and finally get rid of it and be smart with your money. At Wesley Financial Group, we've saved 48,000 families an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare permanently or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-854-4040.
Thank you guys again for lunch. It was a lot of fun.
It was so great.
800-854-4040.
You know what? It really is. It's anytime.
Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Politics and Pints. It'll be at the Colonial Theater Tuesday, May 6th at 7:30. But wait, there's more. How about the pregame coverage?
Pregame.
Starting at 3 o'clock, Great American Pub. Rich Zioli broadcasting live in Phoenixville.
We're going to have a well-lubricated audience, if you know what I mean. I would get your tickets now because this might be so much fun. This might be a rowdy
well-lubricated audience.
He did say that. I was
about to say that. He just said that.
He said well-lubricated audience.
Let's use that.
That's scary.
Let's use that.
Company, weekday mornings,
We want to welcome our well-lubricated audience. We are sponsored by Vaseline.
For by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. The Larry Steinhouse Show.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to another exciting edition of The Larry Steinhouse Show, where we mix entertainment, financial wisdom, and a good dose of humor to dive deep into the issues that matter most. I'm Larry Steinhouse, your host, and I'm here with the one and only Omri Morad, who brings his unique Israeli flair and sharp wit to the table. Okay, I had to write another intro. Right?
Good.
Unfortunately, Dr. Deb is still out at a conference this week, but she'll be back soon with her insightful perspective. And, of course, this.
Can we move on?
All right. This week, we're flying solo with no guests. Oh, actually, we have no guests at this moment,
We had
right?
2.
But it doesn't mean we don't have an exciting, jam-packed show. We're going to tackle everything from the latest in politics to ever-seeking, evolving economy. Obviously, I didn't read this one first.
What is
to
it?
tips and tricks securing your financial future. That's what we really do. And, of course, we'll throw in some off-the-wall banter and shocking commentary because that's what we do best. Ooh, it's starting to know our show. ChatGPT is definitely starting to know our show.
Stop. Just stop
No,
that. We are the Larry Steinhouse Show, and we are sponsored by Investor Schooling. You are more than welcome to come and see us in person and see that that's exactly who we are. We are here every Thursday. You can go to investorschooling.com and just come and see it. We are not that sophisticated as ChatGPT present us. We are simple people, and we want to help you. So just come and join us.
Okay, can I finish?
Yes, you can.
As always, we want to hear from you, our amazing listeners, and the number to call in is
855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137.
And whether you have a question or want to share your thoughts or just want to join the conversation, we're here for it. From current events to personal finance and beyond, this is your chance to jump in and be part of the action. And of course, we're broadcasting live from the Investor Schooling headquarters right here in Bucks County. And if you're looking to level up your financial game and learn how to invest in real estate, stocks, and wealth building, Investor Schooling is the place to be. So grab a seat, get comfortable, and get ready for an engaging and lively show. You won't want to miss a minute. This is Larry Steinhouse, and we are blah blah blah
Blah, blah, blah.
blah blah blah. This is the Larry Steinhouse Show, and we're about to dive into another exciting hour of financial talk, humor, and real world insights. Okay.
Yes.
Was it all right?
Yes.
It wasn't that bad.
It was extremely...
I probably should read it before I read it.
Yeah, it was
that's part of it, the surprise, right?
So ChatGPT is trying to do it extremely sophisticated.
Yeah, it definitely trying to make it sophisticated.
Yeah,
but at the same time, why not, right? All right, now.
Yes.
Whew, wow.
Kimmy
says, why aren't I part of the politics and pints show? That would be an awesome if you were on there. I didn't even know what Politics and Pint show is.
You were thinking about being part of the politics. Maybe that's what she means.
No. There's probably a show called Politics and Pints. It's probably
I know.
It's probably a political show where people sit around drinking beer and talk politics.
Okay, which is basically what we do today.
Yeah, actually, so Omri and I would. What are we drinking? We're drinking margaritas.
Watermelon margarita.
We're drinking watermelon margaritas.
See the weather outside. What do you want me to bring? Of course.
So Omri comes in, right, and he comes in and says, "Hey, I have watermelon margarita. You want some?" I'm like, "No," and he pours me a glass anyway. And then I said to him, like, "Look, it's bad enough that we drink water in the studio. Now you need to understand this is a studio that I built, and it's a beautiful studio, right?" And, we have all the microphones up here. We have all this electronics that I sit in front of because I control my end of the show. Of course, Glenn Page is the producer and controls the side at WPHT, which, by the way, we didn't mention him. That's part of the problem, right? So we didn't mention him.
I know.
Which is a problem, too. So we have to tell ChatGPT to remember to mention him next time because that wasn't fair, right, Glenn? Are you insulted, Glenn?
I am deeply offended.
I thought so. Okay.
I'm storming out.
We're here with our
sweet
producer, Glenn Page, who's ready to take your calls at
855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137.
Right, there you go. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And I forgot where I was, but I see that one of our listeners, Spicoli, he said that Dr. Deb provides a balanced dimension to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very funny because I'm so glad you said that. And Dr. Deb is always like, I don't talk that much on the show. I'm like,
come on.
First of all, she's so important. So we definitely do miss her today.
Correct.
But where were we? We were talking about something, and I got derailed. And
so we had Senator
the drink.
Doug.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have the drink, right. So what I was saying, that we have all this equipment in here, and it's bad enough we bring water in here.
No.
So if we ever spilled water in here, of course, it could damage some of the equipment.
You need to
spilling a sugary alcoholic drink will destroy this equipment.
But it's alcoholic. Alcohol, unlike water, can benefit electronic.
No, but not sugar.
Not the sugar.
Margarita mix.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's not true.
It's true, but it's needed sometimes to get over.
If anybody has a drink out there, when we do a drinking game, right? So, by the way, if you're driving, you can't do the drinking.
Yeah, don't do that drinking.
If you're home, you can do the drinking game. Pour yourself a drink, and every time Omri says the phone number,
yes,
you can drink. So go ahead, say the phone number.
It's related to me too. When I say the phone number, I can drink.
Yeah, you can drink too.
Sure. Okay, so that's 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137.
He's saying it every time.
That's 855. Fill me up.
All right, good. What were you saying?
But really, call us at 855-939.
Does he have the drink near your console?
Yes.
Not so much.
See, I've worked in radio long enough to know that if you keep, eventually, if you bring a drink into a radio studio long enough, it's going to end up on the console.
Oh, of course.
It's going to happen.
Well, so
it's
first
going
of
to
all,
happen.
Now you said that. We're drinking coffee next to the console every Thursday night during class. Now you said that. Now it will happen.
Right, our console is different than yours, Glenn. So our console is all electronic.
Yeah.
So so what we have
tablets.
So an iPad controls our console. So it's very different than what you have. You have all the sliders. We don't have the sliders.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the iPads, and then we have all the equipment right underneath the iPads. So if it rolled down into the equipment, that would be a real problem. So it's slightly different than your situation, where I would have absolutely had a problem with it. I mean, we do have the console, and when we do our school, we have a console back there. If you've ever been to investor schooling, first of all, if you ever went to investor schooling, you would see the electronics we have in investor schooling is amazing. We make the experience an amazing experience. That's a lot of people too on Zoom. So people who are far away,
mm-hmm.
if they sign up for investor schooling, they can actually have the same experience that they have in the classroom.
So because
we've spent so much money on multiple cameras, on multiple angles. And we have a system that we can switch from camera to camera very lightly, not abruptly like Zoom does it. So when you're on Zoom, it's really like a television broadcast.
Basically, almost like you're there.
Right. So he'll drink in front of that console which would be a bad console. Now, I also want you guys to know that I do not think Omri is an alcoholic. He does not do it often. It just happened to be today, and it just happens to be like maybe once every.
Why you brought it up? Why
because
people would even
I
assume?
don't want people to think that we're talking about this like you're an alcoholic, because you're not.
Just when he's working.
I'm unfunctional regarding the alcohol.
Yeah, he's definitely unfunctional,
regardless the alcohol.
whether he was drinking or not. But,
Yes.
you know, but the only reason I bring it up again is because it's like you don't do it that often. I don't want people to think that you go around drinking all day long.
Now you said that. Now that's the only thing they think.
I know, but what are you gonna do, right? So why don't you give the phone number one more time?
So that's
and it's Piccoli saying that you need a straw because
I know.
I heard you sipping.
It was intentionally, guys. Come on.
Right.
That's 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. My glass is empty, so 855-939-1137.
All right, so I want to mention something last week. It was interesting. We were talking last week about my eating habits.
When was that?
Oh, you weren't here.
During the show?
Were you here? No, you weren't here last week. That's right, because you were deported last week.
I was deported.
You were deported last week.
So what happened with your eating habits?
So I happened to mention that the night before Saturday, like Friday night, my wife and I went out, and we had pizza, and I ate 5 slices, and she ate 3 slices.
Mhm.
And I was talking about how the fact that my wife is a super, she's really, really into health, and she does health coaching, right?
Yeah.
So I mentioned it, and it just so happened that Frank, who's right on the line right now, so Frank, why don't you come on in? So Frank called me, and he found my phone number, called me, and I set him with a conversation with my wife. I don't know what happened because just between the two of them, but Frank is calling to say that he called and that he I don't know, whatever. I guess you enjoyed the conversation, right?
Hey Larry, I want to say you're right. One great thing, but before I forget, you mentioned drinking games. You broke the rules already. In drinking games, you can't say drink, you have to say consume. Don't you remember playing quarters? You can't say drink, you have to say consume.
Dude, I didn't play quarters. You know what I did? When the guy said you could play quarters, I'm like, no, I'm just drinking. Leave me alone.
What is playing quarters?
Well, you throw a quarter in the cup.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right. So I didn't, I didn't play that. I just kept drinking. So I consumed, Frank.
Yeah, and you all go to point, no finger point, and then you got consume. Larry, when I called you Tuesday afternoon, it was surprising because Glenn, your great producer, Glenn was in the car. The amazing Dr.
Oh, that's right. You called right when we were all out to lunch. It was funny, right?
And also, I'm not Maryland, man. You told me it's Newtown, man. Omri was in the car too. The packed house. It was great to hear you guys. And I did talk to you. I asked you a question because I heard you Saturday mention it. She did call me right back that same day, and we talked yesterday.
Good,
we talked on the phone yesterday for 2 hours. It felt like 35 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And this is what I want to tell you. I told your wife, actually I asked her, I'm going to ask you, what do you and your wife have in common? It's identical.
He will bring this question back to you.
What do we have in common? I mean, I don't know. I mean, we live in the same house. We have that in common. I mean,
they're both in love with Larry Steinhouse.
I'll tell you this, Larry.
Hi, Glenn. I appreciate you so much. Go
ahead, Frank.
Hey, Larry, I've been listening to you before. It was a great show. Before it was pretty good when that goofball, I won't say his name, he talked too much. But now it's great with you three, the 4 of you. This is what I told your wife yesterday. I said, both you and Larry have good voices. You're easy to listen to. You're smart. You connect with your audience, meaning the person you're talking to. And I wish I had both of you in grade school or high school as a teacher or college, too. These are great communicators, and you're excellent. Your wife is awesome. She knows a lot. And it was a pleasure talking to her. I just want to say thank you for passing on. I really appreciate it.
That's great, Frank. And I'm hoping you guys, I'm hoping she can help you. I think that's what I'm trying to say. That would be great because I know she has a lot. I know, you had a lot of questions for her, and I hope that will be helpful for your life and make your life better.
I want to thank you again so much. I really appreciate it.
You got it, man. I appreciate you being a listener. And by the way, Bill Spadia, he's a radio host, so he does talk a lot because he's used to talking a lot. So I guess when he's on the radio, he just talks. So I think that's what happened the last show. But he was pretty good, and we kept him contained.
I think he referred to me, no?
And I like the guy a lot.
No, not Larry. When you first, like 15 years ago, it was you and the other guy who said, "I'll teach you how to buy homes and make them beautiful."
Yeah, right.
Okay,
yep,
I got
exactly.
you.
Right. So Oh, is that what you meant? You meant him. I thought you meant somebody else.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the other show. Okay, you were talking about Phil. I got you.
Before it was okay.
Oh, so you're saying the show is better now without Phil?
It's awesome now with the four of you.
So Frank, every time you bring in an immigrant to do the American's job, it's getting better.
So I will tell you. So now I know what you're saying. So I will tell you that when Phil and I were on the show, we had good chemistry. But with Debbie and with Dr. Deb and Omri, myself, we have great chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, this show, I love doing this show. As a matter of fact, it's so much fun. We like Omri and I, we can't wait, and we hate it when we have to give it up. That's why we're going on another radio station after this, but that's another issue. We're not allowed to talk about the fact that we're going to be on another radio station after this show ends, but not today, in about a month. So hopefully we'll find some listeners there too. But Frank, we love you, man. We thank you so much for calling. I love all you listeners.
Thanks,
and if you guys want to call in, you can call in at
855-939-1137. Please call us at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137.
That's right. And you can call in about anything. We should probably talk a little bit about
the previous hour.
I want to talk a little bit about the stock market this week. Wow, what a great week that was.
How do you know how to do that? I have no idea.
How do what?
You get an out from any bad situation with the stock market that benefits you.
So I will tell you
I
did goof.
Did the
I
BA
goofed about 3 weeks ago?
The BA thing was a goof?
It was a goof. I mean, I had one account that I did really well with it, and one account I panicked out.
Yeah.
And if I wouldn't have panicked out, I mean, literally, it was $100,000. No, probably $150,000
loss.
Swing. Because I lost 50, and I would have made 100 and not lose 50, so it's a $150,000 swing. I panicked out. I had my rules for Crazy Option Trader, and two rules contradicted each other at that moment. And I had to pick a choice of which rule I'm going to follow, and I chose the wrong one. And it's just life. It just happens. I mean, it's one of those things where, the rules are here to try to prevent you from losing all your money, especially. That's what I did.
We also believed it's going to be a day, and then 2 days, and then 3 days.
Right.
And then we ask ourselves, when is it going to stop?
Right. And the answer is in the rules, by the way. And if I would have just closed the book, closed the laptop or closed the computer, not looked at
Ignore the screen, I know.
I would have been so happy. Now,
what rule are you referring to?
Well, so the one rule was, so one rule is hold your options until after earnings.
After earnings, yeah.
Right, and I'm sorry, it's not hold your options. Have the expiration date past earnings, just in case things go bad in the time of the earnings. Right. So earnings, I think it'd be I don't know if they came or they're coming. It doesn't really matter.
For who?
But the problem was the stock went down so far. So it went from 180 to 135. And now the other rule is reevaluate your buy-sell chart. Like have your sell number. If you're looking at your sell number, what's your sell number? When do you sell the option based on the asset?
Yeah.
So if I'm selling the option based on the asset, I'm like, okay, is it going to go back to 185 in the time period that I'm having to have this option? And I chose no. And because I chose
you didn't believe it would go back to where it was.
I knew it was going to go back to 185, and it did, but I just didn't think it was going to do it in the time frame.
Fast enough.
That's all. And it happened so fast, and I was so glad it happened, but what a mistake, what a mistake it was that I sold that. It was a shame. So anyway, I made $90,000 on a different BA play. So, it's not horrible. It's just that, it's such a disappointment that I could have been up another $100,000 if I would have stuck with my original play. That's all.
I got you.
So we teach the rules of the Crazy Option Trader, and the rules of the Crazy Option Trader are to avoid losing everything. So, on the other side, if playing the rule the way I played it, if the stock didn't come back, I would have lost all the money. Now I still had money to play with, and that's the point. The point is, okay, now I can still what's in the account. It's just a lot of money in the account, but what's in the account now, I can use that money to make up that $50,000.
Recover the loss, yeah.
And I'll probably do it within 2 or 3 months. But it was just a disappointment because wow, this thing came roaring back.
Yeah.
And I have different accounts that I trade differently, right? So we have the covered call test, which is my favorite account, absolute favorite thing, where I've been teaching covered calls lately.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're going to do the last part of the covered calls.
We have 2 of them actually.
Right. So, and if you didn't need the other 2, you just come. You're going to learn. I'm going to teach you how to actually make the plays, actually physically make the plays using the Charles Schwab website. So if you want to go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. Sign up for class this Thursday, and you're going to get to see that. Now, let me tell you my results so far. Of course, your results may differ because that's what my attorney says I have to say. But here's the deal, right? So I'm actually going to see if I can pull out the exact numbers. Let me just see if I can look it up. Because if I can pull out the exact numbers, it's more fun. Okay, here we go. The exact numbers. So on January 1st, I challenged myself, and I explained it to the class, that I was going to put $50,000 into an account. So just $50,000 is all it was, and I challenged, and I said, this is what's going to happen. The first Monday of the month, I'm going to buy stocks, and I'm buying 3 stocks, only 3 stocks, that's it. And I'm going to buy them, and I'm going to margin them to the maximum. So I'm going to actually buy, with $50,000, I'm going to buy about $110,000 worth of stocks, okay? And I'm immediately going to sell the covered calls. Now, if you don't know what this is, don't worry about it because you're going to come to class and I'm going to teach it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, I'm selling the right for somebody to buy those stocks from me at a certain price. Okay, so, and I'm going to take that exact amount of money out that I sold the covered calls for. So, for example, the first month I put $50,000 in and I sold the calls for $4,675.10.
So that's how much people paid for the option.
They paid me
for the option
right.
to buy your your stock at a certain price.
Right. They paid me $4,675.10. Now, that's for a 1-month option, which means that at the end of the month, that expires, and I can do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be clear, right? So first, now if the stock goes up and down, the value of the account may go up and down, but I can every month I can always sell options.
Or if you lose the stock,
I buy the stock back and I sell the options again.
Yeah.
So first month, $50,000 I took out at the end of that month because I have to wait till the month ends. I took out the $4,675.10. I took it out. Then I had left in the account, I had $48,385. The only reason I had $48,385 and not $50 is because there was a fluctuation in the stock market. It didn't matter about what I sold the covered calls for. I'm just tracking this number because it's important to track the number just to show people what it is. So it was $48,385 that day, and I took out at the end of that month $3,908.52. The next month, when I did that, I had $47,102. I took out $4,550.10. On April 1st, I had $50,311. Now remember, I didn't put any more money in the account.
Yeah, it's the same.
And I'm just taking these numbers out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had $50,311. I took out $56,8178. Currently, I have approximately, I don't have it in front of me, but I have approximately $53,000. And on Monday, I do it again. I buy the 3 stocks again, and I sell the cover calls again. So technically, I mean, I'm crushing it. I'm making an average of 8.5% a month of real money. So I've taken $50,000 and I'm making an average, I don't know, I didn't do the average, but probably an average of $4,500.
So the 53,000 include cash value and stocks.
Right. It's all stocks. So I leverage it to the maximum.
Got
it's
you.
all stocks. Because I'm buying, I'm using margin.
No, but you didn't buy them back yet. You only buy them back on Monday, which is
going to be
this Monday.
This Monday, right? This
Correct.
Monday I'm going to buy them back.
So do you know how
many
many?
of the month.
Okay, so do you know, because you know the cash value? Do you know how many of the stocks you actually sold?
So I sold them all because on yesterday they took them from me because the numbers were. So I had like a $10 strike price for Ford, and I think it sold for $10. I think it was at $10.34.
Okay.
So they took it from me. I made 70 cents. It doesn't even matter what I made. What matters is that I put 50. And it's funny because it's very hard to explain this to people. They're concentrating on the minutia, which is that stuff, which is fine. But the fact that I put $50,000 into an account already drew $18,815.50, and I still have $50,000.
Awesome.
So that's what
it's
we're
insanity.
teaching right
Yeah,
now.
I know.
Again, your results may differ, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know. I'm supposed to say this stuff, but I'm telling you I'm doing it. And if you do exactly what I do, you can do exactly what I do, and you can be fine. Come to school and I teach you exactly what I do.
Yeah. Where is Rivian right?
Approximately 1375-ish.
So they went back again a bit. Okay.
Yeah, and Rivian keeps doing that. So that's fine. So I got to buy it back at 1375. I sold it at 13. It doesn't matter because, again, on Monday I'm going to be buying the stock and selling the calls again.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a great it's a great way to make money. I mean, I was trying to prove that with a little bit of money, you can make a lot of money. Now,
it's not a little bit of money. It's also a little bit of attention.
Right. It's 5 minutes a month.
Exactly.
5 minutes a month.
People are scared
Yeah.
to live with those four screens in front of them every day.
Right.
It's stressing. Some people can't go to sleep. It's not for everybody. This is a way to do it.
Right.
And basically forget about it and go back to your life.
Right. So it's 5 minutes. 5 minutes a month.
A month
of spending time on this. So on Monday, the first Monday of the month, I buy the stock, sell the calls. I don't have to touch it. I don't have to look at. Remember, I said I should have done that with BA.
Mm-hmm.
So the funny part was because that's the rules that I set in this.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. I didn't do. Nothing changed.
It will recover at the right time.
Right. So I saw the fluctuation move a lot.
Yeah.
Like I saw it go down to as low as 35,000, but it didn't matter because I couldn't touch it because the rules I set were on. And but not only the rules I set, but once you sell the covered calls, you can't sell the stock.
Yeah.
You actually can't even sell the stock because you're locked in. So it's kind of funny how like the rule itself or the contract that I sold made me keep the stocks.
Someone asked, I think it was last week, not this week, and it was so obvious, and yet nobody ever was thinking about it. I was amazed. Can you sell more option than the stock you have?
You can.
I know, and then you said
dangerous.
And then you said you can. I said, wait, what's going on here? How can it be?
Right. So you could sell contracts that you don't have the stocks. That's a very dangerous thing to do.
You need to have the money, though.
You need to have the money to buy the stock
to cover for
it.
Yeah.
And the stock could go up a lot. So let's say you sold the option to buy a stock at $10 and the stock goes to 25. You have to buy the stock at 25 to sell it to them for 10. That's a lot of money.
But do you have to have the money in your account?
Yeah, you do. Even a portion of it, just because the brokerage doesn't want to be stuck.
Yeah, of course.
With
they will have to honor that.
Yeah, your fraud, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why they have certain limits to that as well. Anyway, if you want to call in, the phone number is
855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137.
All right.
Commercial?
I'm thinking about a commercial. You know why I'm thinking about a commercial?
Tell me.
Because your glass is empty.
Oh, okay.
And how are we going to have a drink? I mean, you couldn't even.
Where's your glass?
You couldn't even drink. Mine's almost empty, right?
Sure.
So you couldn't even drink after you said the phone number. So we probably need to go to a commercial just so you can fill your glass.
Yes.
So you can say the phone number again.
Let's
so Glenn,
do that.
take us to a commercial. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash,
we had
tenants.
a good question.
I'm
Scroll up to the response.
You don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time.
I don't know. See, about real estate something.
So go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. And I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants. This one? This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Did you know that you can leverage the stock market with a little bit of money to make a lot of money?
We had a lot of comments
We
today.
have something that we teach called stock options, and you can make a lot of money
all the way
with
up
a little
there.
bit of money using stock options. Yep, you got to learn how to do it. So go to investorschooling.com and you will learn how to do it. Take a complimentary class this Thursday.
No, it was before all that.
Teach you that and more. Investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. We'll see you there. Hi, this is Larry Steinhouse, and I want to tell you about a full-day event we're having on Saturday, June 14th. Not only will you learn stock options and real estate, but you'll also learn asset protection, you'll learn how life insurance really works, and so much more. To sign up for this event, go to 4mmw.com. That's the number 4mmw.com.
We should also talk.
And I'll tell
We
you
should
what,
also
if you
talk
put in
about the
coupon
Left
code
27 fundraising event.
WPHT, you're going to get a free ticket. That's it. 4mmw.com. Coupon code WPHT. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Listen, you need to take a complimentary class this Thursday. You need to learn how to invest in real estate. You need to learn how to invest in the stock market.
We should have recorded Debbie also said to you to cover your
You need to
belly.
learn how to make more money than you've ever made before.
Let's go all the way.
Come to investorschooling.com. Take a complimentary class this Thursday.
We're just about ready.
Learn. That's
Good move on,
investorschooling.com. Take your complimentary class this
That's
Thursday.
so funny on
We'll see you
Thursday.
there. Hi, this is Larry Steinhouse, and I want to tell you about a charity we formed called Lev 27. Lev 27 is a charity that helps people stay in their homes. Look, sometimes life happens. Many people live paycheck to paycheck, and if suddenly something happens and they can't afford to pay their rent, we will step in and help them. We'll even cover any legal fees to keep them in their home. Go to lev27.org.
So
That's
now talk about the
lev27.org
fundraising.
to find out how you can help or make a donation. Thank you.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
I'm digging this music.
Woo. Yeehaw!
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Larry Steinhouse Show. Hey, I just want to remind you guys, I'm here with my co-host, Omri Morad. Dr. Deb is away today. And you had reminded me during a commercial break that I should talk about Lev 27 fundraiser.
Correct.
Which is a really good idea. So, as you heard in the commercial, we have a charity called Lev 27 where we help people stay in their homes. So, for example, if somebody has a situation like, I don't know, maybe they've been paying their rent for 2 years, doesn't have to be 2 years, but just an example, they've been paying their rent for 2 years, and all of a sudden something happens. They get into a car accident, they lose their job, anything, something like that. We will cover their rent for 2 months, plus any legal fees if their landlord is filing for eviction. We'll cover that as well to keep them in their homes. The only thing we ask is that we want to make sure they can continue to pay their rent, and that the landlord will keep them. I only had 2 sips of this stuff, and I could hear myself slurring.
Why? Not because of the alcohol, because there is barely any.
Is that what it is?
I think it's more
Maybe
about
it's
the
the
fact
sugar.
how sweet it is.
Yeah, maybe, because I could hear my voice slurring. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
It's
mean,
just sweet.
I don't even feel even slightly buzzed.
It's not Glenn Page sweet. It's different type of sweet.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. Right. So I just want to let you know that. So anyway, so we have this charity, and we have a charity event coming up, which is at the Newtown Brewery. It's on June 11th.
Very close to the office.
Very close to 11th. As a matter of fact, it's the day after. It's the day after. It's the day after the primary in New Jersey. So that was interesting too. So guys know my big fan is Bill Spadia. But anyway, so that's after that primary. I'm going to be there. I'll probably be there with him because Bill is a good friend of mine. But more importantly, June 11th, Newtown Brewery. You can have all the beer you can drink, all the food you can eat, and you can go for free. I don't care. If you go to lev27.org, that's lev27.org, you could sign up there, and you can get a free ticket, or you can leave a donation. Of course, if we leave a donation, we appreciate it, but you don't have to. So if you want to meet myself and Omri and Debbie, Dr. Deb, Glenn, are you going to be there?
I will try. What is the date again?
June 11th.
June 11th. Are you going to film us and put it on YouTube there
Newtown
too?
Brewery. And if you can't make it, it's okay. It's Lev 27, LEV 27. Lev stands for Leviticus, so lev27.org. So if you want to show up for that, please do. We'd love to have you. We did it last time we did it there. We had such a good time. That was about 6 or 9 months ago, and we had such a good time. So it's lev27.org, and we appreciate your help on that charity.
I think you received a request for rental assistant this week, no?
Yeah, we did, and we actually received 2.
2?
And one was from Texas, which unfortunately we don't help them with.
Yeah.
And the other one was a guy, and it was a strange situation. I don't want, I got to be careful about,
Yeah, not use names.
Right.
I got you.
No, not just name, but also the situation, because I don't want to think we're talking about him. But it was just a different situation where he had owed the landlord back rent, but the landlord seemed to be okay with it. So it's kind of a weird situation where, look, we really can't help you because all you're trying to do is,
I can tell you that with everything I'm
take care
seeing,
of the landlord, and that's not what we're trying to do.
With
the landlord's
everything
not evicting him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it was a weird application.
So basically, the landlord accept the loss at some point and said,
Yeah,
okay, let's start
I actually
over.
told the guy to call the landlord. I said, listen, why don't you come up with a number that I could possibly pay you back and we'll call
To
it
stay.
even. Because the guy, apparently the landlord likes the guy and, feels sorry for the guy, which I disagree with. but it's nice that this guy's doing that.
You disagree as an investor.
I disagree as an investor.
I got you.
I certainly agree as a heart-filled person.
Correct.
But you have to also draw the line somewhere, and it was a substantial amount of money, so I was surprised. But that's right. I didn't want to get too
that's something that I experienced in court recently. As you know, I'm still dealing with.
Oh, real quick. And by the way, if you're in a situation, right now we're only in Bucks and Montgomery County. So if you're in Bucks and Montgomery County and you're in a situation where something happened and you need to, and you need some help paying your rent, contact us. Lev27.org. Info. The email is info@lev27.org, and we'll see what we can do to help you.
We need to explain that we are here to help people that experience something unexpected in their life.
Right.
This is not a long-term rental assistance program.
Right. And what we do is, like, most people don't do this. Some churches do it. You go to pastor and say, hey, listen, I'm in trouble, and they send a cup around, and they help the person. But we're here, we're collecting money now for future events. But again, that's why you would go to lev27.org. And again, I really hope you do, because it'll be so much fun. It's a great atmosphere to meet us. My voice will probably be slurring there too, because I probably will be drinking a lot of beer. Because I enjoy a good beer.
Yeah, I don't hear anything in your voice. I don't know what you say.
I know. I can feel it.
Okay.
So maybe it's not doing it, but I just feel maybe it's the sugar.
It's the sugar.
It's making my
it is.
My salivary glands very salivary.
Salivary. Now it started.
Salivary.
Yes, we can. Okay. Sorry, Debbie.
Okay. You're a lightweight, Larry. You're a lightweight.
I guess so. Hey, let's talk.
We'll get you a Shirley Temple.
Hey, let's talk to Ed and Duncan. What's going on, Ed? I think I knew who this is. What's going on, Ed? You there?
Hello?
Ed, are you here?
Hello?
Are you here, Ed?
You should be.
Hello?
Should be there.
Oh, no. Ed, are you here?
Hello?
Hey, maybe he's got his phone on hold. Maybe he ran to the bathroom or something.
Yeah, maybe.
So let's make fun of him, okay?
Let's hear if it's flushing.
Let's make fun of him. Ed went to the bathroom and left his phone on hold.
No. Now?
No?
Okay. No. Yeah, now it's the time. Yes, we can. So Kimmy was in the
Get back to him and see if he comes back on, Glenn.
Kimmy was in the last Lev 27 fundraising. She said it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, she said it was a lot of fun.
And she knows what she's talking about. I know it was.
Yeah, you'll get to meet Kimmy, and Kimmy is Omri's #1 fan.
We love Kimmy.
Yeah, definitely.
We love Kimmy.
Definitely.
The environment that we have, we are. I wanted to put a song in the beginning of the show. They told me that rights-wise, maybe we shouldn't be, but we are family. Because this is it's not. This is the subject. This is the subject. No, I'm fighting with her while she's not here. Oh my God! But we are family, and you need to come and see why we are family and what the dynamic is.
It really is. It's a good time whenever you come. All right. So we talked a little bit about the stock market, which is great. And it's funny because I'm watching this again, right? And I saw on my Facebook, my Facebook feed, I have I think I have 4 liberals left on my Facebook feed who haven't left. They're like, yeah. Trump's gonna trash the stock market, yeah. And it's very funny because I'm watching this and I'm watching the stock market come back now, and now we're not even 10% down from the highs, but we're higher at this point than when
we were at the Trump bump. I know, yeah.
Right? So we're higher than we were before the election. So all you guys who are liberals and going, Trump's gonna trash the stock market. Nah, you are wrong again. So, by the way, did you hear what happened in Canada? The new prime minister?
I heard about the new prime minister.
Yeah, new prime minister is a liberal.
No. It's more than liberal.
Worse than Trudeau.
It's very worrying, to be honest with you.
No, I'm loving it. So everybody's like, are you worried about Canada? No, we're like, no, this is fantastic.
Why?
Where the liberals here going to go? When they say, I'm going to leave this country if Trump stays president. Where are they going to go? They'll go there. Get rid of him. Let him go. It's fantastic. I think we should make the United States of America South and the United States of America North. And the South is all the Republicans and the North is all the liberals.
You starting a weird scenario here, and I'm going to look for a Dodge with a flag on the roof. And no, I'm not sure.
Hey, Ed's back. What's going on, Ed?
Larry, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
I was in the bathroom.
I was not in the bathroom. I was in the bathroom earlier, but I was not this time. I want to call and say thank you for the kind words this morning about me and
awesome,
what I've been through and stuff like that.
Awesome.
It is a journey, but with people like you in my life, it makes it so much easier.
Thank
you know
you,
what I
man. I
mean? I
appreciate
know that I can reach out to you for basically anything if I need anything.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
You're
man.
there.
I
People
appreciate
like you. I
you,
have a lot of people in my group, but you're one of them, and I want to thank you for that.
Oh man, thank you, man. So Ed was on our webinar this morning. So by the way, if you didn't know, we do a free webinar every Saturday at 11:30. We go for about a half an hour. It's called the Piece of the Good Life webinar. So if you want to go to pieceofthegoodlife.com, you can join that webinar for free. And we were talking a little bit about Ed. We were raising some money for a medical condition that Ed needs. I don't know if you want to talk about it. If you do, you know what? Why don't you talk about it? If you want to talk about it, go ahead. If you don't, you don't have to. But if you do, you could feel free to give the GoFundMe page if you'd like.
Well, the GoFundMe page is Ed Dowling GoFundMe. You can just Google it. Ed Dowling GoFundMe.
So it's Ed Dowling.
But yeah,
so it's Ed Dowling, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. And
GoFundMe.com.
So tell everybody what's going on.
Well, I'm diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, and along with that, I need a kidney transplant. But there's a lot of side effects and stuff like that to go along with just from being on dialysis for almost 3 years now, and it starts to affect the other organs in your body and your other things from all the meds you're on and stuff like that. I mean, and now I'm just waiting to get on the list to get a kidney. And after that, it's going to be a bit longer journey while I adjust to the new kidney, and you know what I mean,
sure.
And hope it doesn't reject it, even when I get it, So I do appreciate the continued support from my family and friends until all this stuff is behind me.
And all our listeners can continue to support you too, even if it's not financially. Hopefully, they're praying for you right now. And, the ones who don't pray, they're thinking about you. I don't care what they're doing, as long as they're rooting for you.
Yeah.
Ed, you're awesome, man. We love you.
All right.
We're sorry you're going through this, but we'll
see
you Monday, right?
See you Monday.
And by the way, if you want to come to class, you'll see Ed there.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Cool.
I'll be there.
Hey, thanks for calling, man. I appreciate those words, man. Thank you. All right. Wow. We have it's an interesting day today.
Yeah, we had a lot.
Very interesting day.
I know.
Yeah, so we actually have... in our office, we have actually an event going on right now. We have something called the Impact event going on right now. People are learning cool stuff.
By Ken McCarter.
You know what I want to do? Somebody asked me. I always forget. They keep asking me to give the phone number out. Not the phone number, but how to get my book for free.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys want my book, Money Hacks, which is a great book, it really is. And even though I wrote it, I still think it's a great book.
Very objective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the best way to get the book for free is to... Why?
No, the best way to get the book for free is to send a text message. You get a digital copy of the book. You send a text message to 26786. So the phone number you put in your text message is 26786, 26786, and you text the word hacks, HACKS, to 26786, and you will get a digital copy of the book. Now, you were going to say how to get a physical copy.
No, exactly. If you want to, if you are one of those people who like the real deal, this is appropriate to say you like the real deal?
Yeah, it's not exactly the phrase I would use, but...
I heard a commercial that people are lubricating their listeners, so I guess everything is acceptable, right?
No. They said what?
There was a commercial during the commercial break that they are lubricating their... They are lubricating their listeners.
Yes. I don't know who said that, but we were both shocked.
We were both shocked. Ken, I'm sorry, Glenn, do you know what it is about?
I don't know. That was a promotion for some sort of an appearance that they were doing?
Yeah, I think so.
They were saying the audience was lubricated.
Yeah,
the audience they're lubricating the audience. That's what they said.
Yeah.
Right? Or the audience is lubricating, I don't know, themselves?
So if you want, the real
No, I
deal,
think that's actually what they said. I think they said the audience is lubricating themselves.
no, they referred to the audience and they said that the audience is lubricant. That's what I heard.
Lubricating?
Yeah. So if you
and
want,
they actually said, "You know what I mean," which was even weirder.
it's just. It seems like maybe they are sponsored by. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say that even.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
because it's a brand.
What I do is I say, "Hey, Glenn, I might be about to say something really dumb, so keep your finger on the button." So, guys,
no, I'm just saying if Vaseline is the sponsor of this show,
okay,
it shows everything. Yeah, it tells you everything basically, right? So if you do like the real deal, and if you do, no, it is. Debbie, stop. If you do like the real deal and you do want to get the real book, you can come to Investor Schooling. You don't have to be lubricant when you come. You can just come to Investor Schooling on Thursday. You go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com and RSVP for a free.
And there will be no lubricating while reading my book.
We have no lubricating while eat the. You know what I was thinking about? How can it be that your wife, who is the master of healthy food, okay, and we are giving people cakes every Thursday night.
Well, we don't give them cake
and treats.
We give them a snack every Thursday night. So it's a snack. Sometimes it's healthy. Sometimes it's extremely unhealthy.
Unhealthy, exactly.
Right.
What happened?
So Kimmy's telling me about pints and politics. That's all.
Okay.
But they won't. No, they won't bring us. They won't bring me in because I'm not a real
politician.
Radio host.
You are.
No, I'm not. According to WPHT, I'm not a real radio host. I am a sponsor.
The jackets say differently.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, they don't understand, that I am a real radio host. And that just because I pay for my radio show doesn't mean that I'm not a real radio host.
So I want to take a drink, so I will say the phone number. If you want to call us, please, 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137.
I got to speak. I got to speak at an event right after the show.
We have a few minutes, so please call us at 855-939-1137. We'll be very happy to talk to you about anything related to money, real estate, stocks, investment, whatever you need. We are here for you.
Yeah, somebody call in because you guys make the show.
Yes, please call.
Right, and again, if you want the digital copy of the book, 26786. Type the word hacks. HACKS to 26786 to get a free copy. Okay. All right. So we talked about the stock market, which is awesome. And we talked about the fact that this Thursday night we're going to be talking more about covered calls and how to make the kind of returns that I'm making. Not, we can't guarantee it. Oh my goodness. But I'm telling you right now, what we're doing is it's amazing how we, how this covered call idea works. Yeah. It really does work.
Yeah.
And we're teaching it, and it was funny because yesterday I was with one of the students, and I spent 20 minutes with the student, and I showed him how to do it, and he made $6,200 in 5 minutes. And it's money that's his. You can't be taken away from him. The $6,200 he made, it's his money. You can't be taken away from him.
So we keep saying that the way we teach stock, you can't lose more than what you invest.
That's true. Okay,
Wait,
yeah,
stop.
Okay,
I know.
Yeah.
You can't. Will you agree with me?
So you can't lose what he said when they cut him off. You can't lose more than what you invest. I just want to make sure you got it.
Can we move on?
Yeah.
So the question I have for you, is it right to say that in the covered call test, you can't lose more than the price of the option?
No, it's not. It's
no?
totally different. It's totally, you can't lose. You can't lose more than the amount of money you put into the stock.
The amount of money you put. I'm sorry. The amount of money you put into the stock.
Right.
Because even if yes, but if you lose the stock, let's talk about it. If you lose the stock, you still get the money you put into the stock.
Correct. Exactly.
So what you can maybe lose is the gain that the stock made during the time that you hold the option.
That and the only other thing, remember I said I'm margining them?
Yes.
So I margin them 100%. So if I can only afford to buy 1,000 shares, I'm buying 2,000 shares on margin. I can lose. It is possible, highly improbable. But if, let's say I put $5,000 in, and I bought $10,000 worth of stock with the $5,000, if the stock I bought goes to zero...
I'm not talking about that.
I know, but if the stock... I just want to let them understand the risk.
Yes.
If the stock I bought goes to zero, I owe $5,000. The odds of that happening are closer to zero. That I actually, the odds of getting hit by lightning, unless you pick the wrong stock, and we're going to teach you how to pick stocks that probably could never happen to. It's funny. I use these words like probably because somewhere along the line, there's somebody at the FDIC going, you could lose all your money. How dare you listen to Larry Steinhouse? And it's so wrong.
Not in the way we teach it.
Right, exactly. Not in the way we teach it, but I have to protect myself and use words like this so I don't get sued later on in case somebody doesn't follow my advice, takes a stock that is going to go to zero and tries this with it, and then they lose all their money. Go, well, Larry said you can't lose all your money. And I said, well, I didn't tell you to use that stock. That was one that I would specifically tell you not to do it.
No,
like
I tell you
what Spirit Airlines, when Spirit Airlines was in bankruptcy,
yeah, but we
can't
knew,
do it.
We knew the risk there is high.
Right.
We knew that. What I'm asking is, and I tell you where I'm going. If a person has drawer stocks right now, he's not doing anything with he or she. Right. They don't know anything with those stocks.
And they have good stocks.
And they are good stocks, and they are waiting with them. Maybe they are going to give it to their kids one day.
Yeah.
Right? Do that.
Right. Exactly.
Do that.
Right. If you have any stock in the stock market right now, and you have at least 100 shares.
Yes.
Of the same stock, I'm telling you, you're throwing money away. You could be making money every month. It's like renting your stock out. It's like getting rent on your money every month.
And probably still have the stock.
And if not, you're still going to be ahead. The odds are high that you're still going to be ahead, especially if you have a stock that doesn't move much.
Exactly.
Like if you have a stock that goes from 55 to 60, 55
Ford.
to 60, 55
Ford
to 60.
is a very good example.
Ford's a great one because it goes between 9
and 11
and a half to 10 and a half.
Yeah.
That's all it does. It goes 9 and a half to 10 and a half, 9 and a half to. So I don't care what the stock is.
Yes.
Like tomorrow I got to buy it back. Not tomorrow, but for Monday I got to buy it back at 10 and a quarter or something. I don't even know what it went. I can't remember. But 10 and a quarter. But so what? I don't care. I'm going to sell the covered calls. If the stock goes down to 950, it doesn't matter because I just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. I keep making money every month, and I don't care what the stock is. That's why I said the 50,000 I put in, that number became irrelevant. It's now how much can I draw out and for how long can I draw it out for. Now, I'm going to tell you that picking 3 companies that will probably never go out of business, if I pick those 3 companies, the odds are I can draw money from this account
forever.
For eternity.
Yeah, forever.
Right? For eternity. Or until, the whole financial world
collapses. And that's, again, very unlikely, the value of the stock will reach to a point that you won't be able to hold 100 shares.
No, well, yeah, but that's highly unlikely too. Right?
It's extremely unlikely, but yeah.
Right, exactly, right.
So if you do have stocks in a drawer somewhere, it doesn't matter where, just come to Investor Schooling this Thursday. And what we're saying is actually intriguing you. Come to Investor Schooling this Thursday and learn how you can make money out of this stock while you're waiting for the stock to be at
and
wherever.
Still collect the dividends.
Exactly.
So if you're collecting dividends because you're holding stock, you still collect the dividend and you make this extra money.
It's still your stock.
It's insane.
I know.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And people don't know it. And I got to tell you that there are other people who teach this, but they teach risky ways to do it. I teach a very safe way to do it.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Dividend-wise.
Yeah.
Do you need to hold the stock for a certain amount of time?
You have to have the stock, I believe it's 30 days.
To get dividend.
To get the dividend, and you have to stop the stock a couple of days after, to actually collect the dividend.
Okay, I got you.
But it's no big deal. It doesn't matter. Honestly, I think only one of the 3 stocks I'm holding is dividend anyway. It doesn't matter to me. All I care about the income. Because my whole point of this is like we invest in real estate, and imagine you take $50,000 and you buy a piece of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you leveraged it like enormous, like you bought a $500,000 piece of real estate, right?
Yeah.
What is your net rent if you leveraged it and bought a $500,000 worth of real estate, even $1 million worth of real estate? What would your net rent be on the $50,000? Net rent after all your expenses, after all your mortgage payments, after everything. What do you think what would be a good number?
$1 million?
Yeah, $1 million property. What would be a good number?
$10,000.
So that would be your gross rent.
No,
right?
I will even say
a month. I'm talking about a month.
You talk about the month.
I'm talking about a month.
Ooh.
Oh, you're talking about okay. So let's go back to what you just said. So let's use that number. Let's use $12,000 to make it easy, right?
Yeah.
So you invested. You bought a property worth $1 million, and you get $12,000 a year profit. That's $1,000 a month, right?
No, I was wrong. You were right, and I was wrong here.
Okay.
Because if it's $1 million, I want to be at a million, me. That's only me. After all fixed expenses, which to me it's taxes, licenses, inspection, and insurance. Okay, I need to be at the 1%. So if it's $1 million, I want to see 100,000 a year.
You're not going to get 100,000 a year. No.
I tell you why.
1%,
I tell you why.
Hold on, that's 10%. That's not 1%.
But we talk about the year.
1% is.
We talk about the year.
You think you're gonna make? You think you're gonna net $10,000 a month on real estate deal with $1 million? Listen,
that's the problem.
You never have, and you never will. And if you do, I'm in.
So I'm telling you where I have that every day. I have that in the cheaper properties.
Yeah, but you
not in $1 million properties.
Leveraged.
Exactly. Yeah,
They're not leveraged.
I got you now.
Okay. I'm talking about taking $50,000 and buying a $1 million property with $50,000, which you can do.
Yeah.
You can actually buy it with zero. That's not the point. But I'm talking about taking $50,000 and buying a $1 million property. How much do you think you're going to net every month? And that's not a bad number.
After paying for the financing?
Paying the financing, paying the taxes, paying the insurance, paying all repairs, blah, 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 blah. $1,000?
Let's go with $1,000.
Yeah,
I think even that is optimistic.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, that's the point, right? So $1,000, right?
Yeah.
But with $50,000, I took home $4,500 with no tenants, trash, or toilets.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people then, because a lot of people listening, going, "Well, why don't you sell all your real estate and just do this?" And it's not a bad idea, but I will tell you that diversification is a really important thing.
Yes.
So I have the foundation of my financial net worth is real estate.
We have real estate investor here in the school that became lenders.
Right, but
why they became lenders?
Wait.
Because of diversity.
I just want to stay on topic.
Yeah.
Can I stay on topic? Anyone that says Debbie, can we stay on topic?
Yeah.
Okay. Next we move on. Can we stay on topic?
Okay.
Right. So the point is, I could sell all my properties, and I would probably make between $50,000 and $70,000 a year easily. I'm sorry, a month. $50,000 and $70,000 a month easily. If I took all the money I sold my properties from, I'd probably be more. I'd probably be 100, so whatever. And I did exactly what I'm doing. But if something bad happens, I can't even come up with a
scenario. Yeah.
But the fact that I own properties, the fact that I own precious metals, the fact that I have money in other stocks, other stock market, it just makes my grounding safer, right? It just makes me like I don't need to worry about anything anymore. And that's because I have all these different places. Can I make more money putting it all into covered costs? Absolutely. But it's not necessarily the greatest thing to do. So some investments are making a lot of money, some investments make little money. Every once in a while I lose money in investment too. It happens. With the ice cream store, I had to sell the ice cream store. I lost money on that. So, I lost a lot of money on the ice cream store too. I lost over $100,000 on the ice cream store.
Sometimes we do think just because we
and now
want
the
to
guy
do
who bought the store, not the building.
I see.
He's doing so well because he turned it into a ice cream and pork store.
Yeah, pork store,
which is so amazing. And and it's like when I see his advertisements, I'm bittersweet. And I'm like, oh, this was like my baby, but at the same time, I'm so glad I'm rid of it because it was costing me $3,500 a month to keep it open.
So sum it up, we are very pro diversity.
Come to investor schooling for your DEI.
Because we are very pro diversity.
Right. So we have diverse, equal investments.
No equal, diverse investments.
Diverse, equal investments.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
I don't know, whatever. That was my DEI.
Excellent.
You liked it, huh? See, Glenn got it.
Excellent investment.
Glenn got
Excellent.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, diverse, excellent investments. That's it. Diverse, excellent investments.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. I have to use that in an advertisement, Glenn. That was awesome, man.
We
Thank you.
should put it in the presentations.
Yeah.
Diverse, maybe that's the new logo.
Yeah, maybe.
The new note logo. Yeah.
I think I might use it on Thursday just for fun.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, anyway, I want to thank everybody. You guys are awesome. It was a great day today, wasn't it?
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
We had a couple of great shows. It was
Yes.
awesome. Okay. I want to thank all the listeners for listening to the Larry Steinhouse Show. I appreciate you. I want to thank you, Omri, for coming in here every week after week after week, except for the week you were deported, of course.
Yes.
And I had to call Trump and get you back. That was great.
Appreciate that.
Trump really appreciated it. He was very upset that you got deported.
Yeah, I removed the tattoo.
Yeah. Anyway, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. And you can take a complimentary class this Thursday. And I'm telling you, it's a great class. So investorschooling.com. We'll see you Thursday.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All